Hey, y'all. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. I hope everyone has had an amazing Monday. We've had a trying Monday. Okay. We've had a trying Monday. So just bear with us. Prayerfully, this stream goes off without a hitch, but we had technicals earlier. But alas, we are here. And if you're brand new here, my name's Ashley. This is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, here to put you on. And I'm joined by none other than Tyra over at Struggle Reviews TV. Tyra, how are you on this very fine Monday? And are you ready to get into the Gilded Age?
I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm definitely ready. This was a great episode, as I said in my description, and I want to talk about it.
Okay. I mean, I'm absolutely here for it. And let me do just a couple of hellos. I see a new face here. Hey, Tiff to the Annie. Hey, everyone. Hey, Tony T. Thank you. Yes, come on in, hit the like button in advance. You know what I'm saying? Have faith that this is going to be a fantabulous stream. So go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all of those things for us. It means the most. Hey, pretty girl. Hope you're having a great day. Hey, Darfalina, the birthday girl who had a birthday this weekend. Hope it was amazing. Darfalina, good to see you tonight. Hey, Joshua, good to see you, bro. Hope you're having a great Monday as well. He says Monday was Mondaying today. Listen, and I was off work thinking this was going to be a prime day. Spent hours on the phone with technical support and still didn't get resolution. But alas, we're moving on. We're going on. We're not dwelling on the past. We're getting into this episode, Tyra. We're getting into it. I want to know immediately as we come out the gate here, overall thoughts, season 3, episode 3, Gilded Age, and how does it stack up to the first 2 episodes? You're muted, my dear.
This is the best episode that they've had in all 3 seasons, if you ask me. I'll tell you why. Like, yes, whoa, yes, clutch your pearls. I feel like this show has a really hard time knowing when to pivot and go to a new character. It's like we spend too much time with a certain person that we typically don't care about, and then we come back and it's like we don't allot enough for everyone, and I think that that's so important. I felt like with this episode we spent just enough time with everyone in our cast. It was very well rounded. We got to the point, and we got some more blacks. You know how much we've been wanting to dive over there and go a couple of places with Peggy, and I feel like we got all of that. I feel like this is the best episode that I've seen in a while.
Oh, whoa. And I'll take that. And again, this episode was entitled Love is Never Easy, because y'all know that's the poppycock and dribble that Bertha was feeding down Gladys's damn throat throughout the episode. But no, I enjoyed this episode as well, honey. You know we love the blacks, and we're going to get over there. But I think they did a really, really good job this episode, because I think one of my major complaints with all seasons is that I did want our black characters more fleshed out. I wanted to know more about who they were in society. And then not only that, you know, is there nuance or is there complexity? Are there differences amongst these characters? And I think this episode did a great job in terms of pacing. I think it pushed the narrative along exactly where we need it to be, heading towards the middle of the season. So I was extremely well pleased. But I do want to start over here, because outside of the episodes are always beautiful, but this was special to me. And I don't know if it's because the Felicia Rashad was over there. I don't know if it's because we did get the fancy blacks, honey, walking in a processional with their parasols and just being fabulous. I don't know what it was, but it did give me the feels. And I want to give credit where credit is due. Off rip over here. Of course, we have Sally Richardson, who is a primary director of the series overall. But then we also have here Sonia Warfield, who wrote with Julian Fellowes for this series. And I just think it's really important when we're delving into characters of color that we do have people behind the camera that represent that and can write to that experience, because I know some writers have big challenges with that, Tyra. We've seen it over and over again. And then back here, I have Ellis Wilson's funeral processional painting, because this was big to me. A lot of people might not get the reference or even have noticed it. But if you remember on The Cosby Show, This was a painting that was hanging in the Huxtable home. Claire's uncle, I believe, had painted it, and she had to go to auction to win it back. And seeing them walk, and you see them walking on the beach, and you see this processional, right? You see them coming up and coming down, like a promenade almost. And I saw the callback. I was like, Felicia's here. Like, this was a full circle moment for me. I loved how they paid attention to detail, and it blessed me. Tyra, go on and talk to me.
Oh, you know, I loved it. I saw it. I wasn't going to say anything. I don't know why. I was going to say something to you after, because we join the Discord, y'all, become a member. We watched this in the Discord with our people, and I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I mean, you know, somebody probably won't get it. To get this, like, this is very Black. This is very Black, and this is catering to an audience, preferably a Black one, who was really paying attention to some fine details. Baby, the Cosby Show was my show.
Listen,
it was my show. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, and Felicia's here. This is so nice. This is so nice. Such a really great reference. But I like that they were detailed enough to go that, you know, for those who get it. And if you don't, you don't. It still isn't going to. I thought it was subtle, and it was really fine. Like, yes, like we didn't have to be overboard with it. But if you were to really be deep into those Claire Huxtable streets, then you're going to get it. I was like, oh, that's nice. Thank you. That was for us.
It was special. And then if we want to go even deeper, if we think about who the Huxtables represented in a time, it was representative of the space that we're in. But of course we'll get to that. But I had to take a moment, because immediately I was like, oh, that's where we're at. Okay, this is what we're doing. But y'all, let's get into it. Y'all know we always start with the characters, and let's start over here with Miss Scott, honey, because they are away. They've taken their trip, and we are with Mr. and Mrs. Scott, as well as Miss Peggy Scott, and we are adapting to the new world. Peggy's going into this with a very open mind. You know, her doctor's over there, the good doctor. And they're, you know, having a time of it. The parents are coming. It's family, her family, mom's family. And we're just kind of, you know, seeing what's going on. Who am I getting a call to go and see, right? And preparing, and what that really looks like. This is the beginning stages. Nothing's official with Peggy and the doctor, but we're definitely over here. Tyra, what did you think of Miss Scott this episode? For me, this really centered around her parents more than Peggy. But I loved getting to know them a little bit more.
I did too. I loved it. Every single episode this season has me concerned for Peggy and what direction they're taking her. It seems like we were so hyper focused career-wise those first 2 seasons, and now we ain't heard a peep. We have not heard anything about her writing, about a book, about an article, about a newspaper, nothing. It's just kind of been here. And I'm like, I know we're not trying to transition Peggy into my man. Can, you know, I like her being a career woman. And if that comes, it comes. But, you know, this is that. I love this, though, because we are getting into a very nice place with her parents, even daddy, because, you know, it was real rocky for 2 seasons. And we're finally kind of past forgiveness, and we're continuing to live life. I thought it was great. I love it. Shout out to the pastels. Okay. Shout out to the pastels in the definition as far as wardrobe on this show. I don't know who over there, but they do what needs to be done every single episode. And I thought it was really nice that we get not only a different POV, but this nice setting. And it's like a complete shift from, you know, on down New York, and even how it looks in Brooklyn. It was so bright and vibrant. I was like, is it Easter? It just looks so nice. But I thought this was cool. I'm just really concerned for where we're taking Peggy. I hope that we're still remembering, you know, her wants and her desires, and it's not just shifting towards I need me a man. And not because that shouldn't be a priority also, but we get so much of that with Snow White. I don't want it here with Peggy.
And we'll see, because the last time she mentioned her book, the chapters, anything, was when she was having her spell, honey, and he came and scratched her head when she was ailing. So, I mean, I want to know more, but again, she's taking this reprieve to recover, to relax, and maybe make inroads. We shall see what happens. And of course, we'll get deeper into that when we get into kind of the full episode breakdown. Ada didn't have much progression for me. They can wrap it up in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Let's wrap up this storyline between she and Agnes. However, I will say this. I was right. And I love it when I'm right. You know what I'm saying? Ada is grieving and doesn't know how to deal with it. We see her have an emotional breakdown with the cook downstairs when she's really just going on her mission, honey, with this temperance league. And she really is like, Mr. Forte's gone. I don't know what to do. And you think I would because I've been single my whole life. But really having this great love and then losing it has been worse than anything. And we actually finally see behind the veil and see what's really driving on Ada. And we really see some emotion from her. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was vulnerable. But where do we go from here on Ada other than this battle with Agnes? Tyra?
Well, first, there are currently 35 people in my chat. Please say what's up. Please, please, please. We love to know that you guys are here so we can acknowledge you and your thoughts on the show. I'm so disappointed in Ada. I'm so disappointed. Like, this was her time. Like, let her be great. It's like we're going to continue to keep her in a box just so Agnes can be Agnes. I think this is a disservice to her character. Like, okay. I was never expecting her to be Agnes 2.0, but I would at least I thought we were going to go nice and nasty with Ada because moo-hoo-ha, who got the money now? No, we're going knee deep into crazy and grieving and lost and probably taken advantage of. Like, Ada could have been that without the grief and the money in tow. She's always been a little, naive in that way. And we've seen that. And it's just like, when you fall, because you will, Agnes will be here to catch you. Like, let her be great. Because right now, I just want them to put her in a 5150 hold and let her go take a nap. Just sedate her for a while, until she comes to. And whenever she's ready to, stop mourning and take off that black, she can come back. But right now, she needs to be washed and needs some therapy. This is concerning.
I think she's got to work it out. And I think last night was the first step because she's finally talking to someone. Agnes is her sister, but Agnes doesn't hold space for Ada to really be vulnerable or be herself. And I wish she had some other damn friends, but it seems as though she's very insulated in this house. But I still feel for Ada because I think it's a real hurt and you don't get over grief like that. It's not easy.
Well, what does her grief have to look like? Ada before times 10. Like, why couldn't her grief just be, I'm really gonna rub it in Agnes's face? Can we do that? That would be great.
That's not Ada though. That's not the Ada. That's not Miranda. That's not any of it, right? That's not the Ada we've ever met. She's always been kind and soft spoken. We've been seeing another side to Ada, honestly, in this whole push. This manipulation nation, I am paying the bills. So that's a lot for Ada. That's a lot for Ada.
Or do we still have that staff aligned with Agnes in all of her doings? Like, please.
I thought Ada was going to go down there and heads were going to roll. I thought she was like, you going to sign this or you going to get out of here. I really thought she was going to.
I thought. I would have lived for that.
Now we're over here to Agnes. Not a lot happened. Again, they're major. The episode was really not about them for once. But again, we're still here in this spot of, I run this. No, you don't. How dare you, Ada? But it's me, Agnes. But it's you, Ada. And it's like, there's got to be more depth to this sisterhood than just this. And I know there is. So I really want us to hurry up and wrap this up in about 5 more minutes, Tyra. What say you?
Girl, just give her the money already. That's all I'm waiting on. Give her the money. Give her the social capital, the standing, because we know what's coming. Like, it's as if she can exist outside of that. I thought this idea would roll over into us seeing a different side of Agnes because she doesn't have those things and she doesn't have the standing even within her own home as she's had for years. Not her moaning and groaning about it every episode. Like, it's cool now. It's like we get it now. Episode 4 and 5. What are we doing with Agnes in the meantime, in between time?
I know. I have a theory because how I feel about what Bertha's about to do with Larry and Miss Brooke. And for everybody who said, I don't think she'll have a problem with Miss Brooke, Bertha wants to run them kids' lives. The only matches that will be acceptable for Larry or Gladys will be whoever Bertha chooses. And Marian is not that. So I think there's going to be something that happens. We already know she's going to try to hook Larry up with that girl up down the street who she thought was after the Duke. That's going to be her match. I think Agnes might, get in her bag in terms of the Russells, but I don't know anything yet. but that might give her a mission and a cause and a purpose. Finally, if we're not going to get over here into the suffrage rights, which, I mean, bring that already, right? Now we're over here with Miss Brooke, who Tyra affectionately calls Snow White. Again, y'all know it's hard for me to care. I'm trying to find it somewhere. The only thing I like about Miss Brooke at this point is Larry. And that's for fake too, because he's a horn dog. Tyra, when he shut that door, I said, is he going to try to get her in here? But I mean, he was stealing kisses. He's playing fast, loose, and very reckless, knowing the type of mother he has. And I don't really think he's taking Miss Brooke's reputation into consideration. This mouthy maid can ruin Miss Brooke. Miss Brooke already 2 strikes. She only has 1 strike and you're out. Ada had to tell her, I thought you were being careful. I thought you had a brain this year. But clearly Miss Brooke is, for all of the polite affection that she claims, she's hot to trot for Larry too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be letting him kiss you all up and down everywhere. Tyra, talk to me about Miss Brooke. Talk to me about Larry. Is this going anywhere? And are you seeing any progression in her character? I'm not.
Girl, it's the same. It's been the same for 3 seasons now. She's still, girl, when she said, I'm supposed to be as pure as the driven snow, I fell out. Oh, Snow White. Like, maybe Larry this horn dog. Larry's trying to get some. Larry's trying to get some. Larry was getting some before that older woman, and he needs some after that older woman. Girl, I'm open. Girl, come on. You looking? It's, oh my God. Like, they are clearly on 2 different pages. I don't know why they're wasting our time for so long. Like, really, especially that first season, it did feel like, okay, we're working through all of these kind of nobodies, and you 2 are eventually going to be together because you're always looming around each other and all of these affectionate little glances. But now it just feels like you 2 are definitely not that. So just go ahead and exit so we can get to the get-in. I thought we were going to get progression in her character, even if it was small, with the women's suffrage movement. But as quickly as we mentioned it, we haven't heard it again. So I guess that's something we have to wait for. But she's just as drab as she's always been. She's just boring. I'm sorry.
Miss Brooke is just so dry. Like I said, I think we're going to get some drama because I know as much as y'all love to love on Bertha, big burly Bertha. Never mind. Stop, Ashley. I think she wants to be in control of every aspect of her family's life. That by extension is her children and their partners. So if y'all think Larry's going to get a free ride in a fancy car, he's not. She cut that widow off, had that widow crying into her pillow at night. Like, Bertha is not going to let this abide. I assure you it's going to be a mess. Speaking of Big Bertha and that cougar cat, we're now over here with Mr. Russell. I am so disappointed in Mr. Russell. I didn't know I could be this disappointed in a man, especially a fine man with a full beard that connects. But Mr. George Russell, you are on my list. And you're not coming off of it, I fear. I think this was, I mean, even though he rejected that witchcraft and wizardry cat, he did reject it. It's still not done. Gladys had a promise broken by her father. The Duke might do anything to her now. He might hang her up by her ankles. We don't know. And you don't know either because you paid him off, bud. You paid him off at the behest of Bertha and her feminine wiles. Bertha is unapologetically a monster, in my opinion. It was like, yeah, I lied. I don't give a damn. Here's what we need to do, George. This is what we're going to do. Did you mess up my plan? Okay, fine. I'll go behind your back and do everything to get the Duke back because this is going to happen. Tyra, were you surprised by Mr. Russell, or did you know he was just going to continue to be weak-willed and mealy-mouthed?
No, I told y'all, unfortunately, it is going to take for Gladys to be physically, emotionally downtrodden and hurt for him to step in and say, I knew I shouldn't have allowed you to take the reins on Gladys and all things relationship, I'm not surprised. I mean, I was here for him saying, girl, I don't want that wicked kitty cauldron cat. I'm not sleeping in here. Leave me alone. That's not going to work this time. But is it? It's still, you know, you're still aligning yourself with her beliefs and wants. Like, you never hold her accountable for anything. She just lies and goes about her day. And because who's going to check me, boo? Not even you. You're not going to do anything. Follow my lead. I'm right. And he follows. Even with all the rebuttals, you're still not having Gladys's back the way we would want you to. But I'll never be surprised, girl. This is who he is.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I saw that. Bertha will do anything to secure whatever her purpose. She always threatening to ruin somebody's life. So why not Miss Brooke? Even though Miss Brooke attended her raggedy parties when no one else would, I still don't think, I think at the end of the day, like she said, this is business to me. That's your business. This is my business. And she treats it as such. Bertha, she's an unscrupulous woman and she will do anything at the end of the day, in my personal opinion. Meanwhile, Gladys is over here, baby. Just at this point, it is what it is. Early in the episode, still having hope in her father, because of course, and we'll get into the whole thick of it, but he makes the Duke an offer, the Duke's not going for it, walks out, and we think it's done. She's elated. Mr. Russell is like, okay, cool. I did my big one. And soon the tables turn. Larry as her confidant here to talk her through it. But Tyra, what did you think of Gladys this episode and her progression?
Girl, poor little
if any.
Yeah. I mean, I could say progression. Because Gladys we gone shrew up that face and we're gonna cry and but what, like poor little orphan Annie. She's just not okay. It's disappointing. I know above all else, she was like, I don't care what's going on. My daddy said something and I could depend on him. And a matter of fact, he really came through. The relief we saw in this episode when she thought she was never going to have to see the Duke again, when it was snatched away, it was like, it's hard to see Gladys be so powerless, but it's like, what else can she do? And with how, I mean, we would want that, but how much fool can we act when it's always, this, or I'm going to take this, like, the way that Bertha moves, gosh, she might leave Gladys somewhere downtrodden in a ditch or something. If she don't, I don't know.
You disinherit her. You said I disinherit you.
I don't know. Like, it's just like, what is the limit? She's just kind of powerless here. I would love to see like her really act a fool to see how they cope with it. Because Bertha's just used to, okay, you're gonna complain, you're gonna cry, but you're gonna do what I said. Who's gonna help you? You daddy, like. So it's like if she did, ruffle some feathers or really act a fool or be the worst wife that Duke's ever had or whatever, what does that look like? I want to see it, because if we're getting into the women's movement and suffrage and rights, Gladys and like Aurora, and you would think Snow White would be at the cusp of that, and so far we haven't really seen anything.
Nope, they're just playing at this. This is going to be the majority of the season, I'm sure. Bertha in this wedding. Oscar doesn't even really deserve an honorable mention at this point. He is just happy, kicking his feet up. He got 2 clients, Tyra, because of his man. He's infused and reinvigorated and slouching all over the couch everywhere. I'm over seeing Oscar in his weird face. I really, really do. You talked about Jack looking like a Tim Burton character. Oscar looks like a Tim Burton character from Halloween Town is what Oscar looks like. But Tyra, did you feel anything for Oscar? He didn't do much. He was a placeholder this week for me.
Girl, for anybody who has seen the Robinson Family, remember that animation? And the little boy, when he ages up and he becomes the villain, that's what Oscar looks like every single time I see Oscar. It's the little boy in the Robinson Family. Got the robots and they go into the future. But it's that one when he's a little boy and he has those bags under his eyes because he's so exhausted. That's Oscar. Oscar he looks like live action. Oscar does nothing. Oscar does nothing. He's kind of headed, into some Marian territory. For the most part, at least we could, look forward to him trying his hardest to deceive a woman, but that's not even his narrative anymore. I look forward to seeing where it goes. The only place I see him going is to gain some type of finances and put Agnes back to, just being Agnes. But other than that, what is Oscar really doing?
That's the question. Nothing except being annoying. At least he's not running after women trying to find a beard this season. I'm grateful for that small miracle. Over here with Larry, honey. Larry shocked me this episode. He was lost for words and Jack had to step in. I was here for Jack. I told you Jack's not going out without a fight. I still believe that Jack is going to come up. He's going to get his bag and get out of the basement. I so want this for Jack. But Larry, I don't know. Maybe Larry doesn't have the prowess. He's projected all of this time. I was really surprised that he was like kind of guffawed, I guess, at the questions that they were asking him when he was supposed to have been well studied. We know this is Jack's baby. Jack knows it in and out. I thought Larry had done the time and done the research. He was going to take the meeting by himself originally, but I was really interested in that. And also Larry, like I said, I don't think he has that much respect for Miss Brooke. He knows his mother. And again, I'm not making Larry a villain yet. But I will say this, your family, the mother, the house staff. Why would you ever put her in a position like that? Also, you can't hear those loud, heavy footsteps and those big wooden doors. Like y'all didn't hear that enough to jump back. Like she caught you guys mid smooch. I don't get it, Tyra. Talk to me about Larry. I know he's your favorite.
Girl, who the hell do you think Larry is? I'm so tired of you playing on my top in the audience and everybody else about who you think Larry is. Larry might as well be a pit bull with the little pink thing hanging out, running around those little streets. That's all he cared about. Like, we already knew that Larry was hyper fixated on something else, when we were supposed to architect and this, that, and that. He couldn't even separate the booty from the job and keep it professional and do that first job when he was given the opportunity. Like that's been, gone down the drain as far as his ambition and how professional. And I want to make a name and I don't want to work in the family way. And please, it's a lot to live up to, Mr. Russell. And I'm going to do my own thing. Please, where? He's just going where the wind blows. Of course, this happened, and this was brought to me by old Marian. So let me try to help. Well-versed where? Well-versed in booty. Ain't well-versed in nothing. All he wants is some cake from Snow White. And if she ain't giving up that cake, he gonna go get it from somewhere else. My issue is with how unprepared he seems to be and you setting up these meetings. Who you setting me up with? Who are you setting me up with? How do we know somebody's not going to try to steal the idea, the patenting, and the whole nine? Like, do you know who we're sitting down with? Because Jack so far has been following your lead, and he doesn't know or move in these circles. They could be talking to any damn body. Corrupt folks.
I think Jack knows more than you're giving him credit for. I think Jack has researched about the clocks, about the clockmakers in the city, about these potential people. I don't think he could have made the connections himself, of course, but I want us to give Jack a little bit of credit. I do, because I really need this to work for him.
I like him. I just see he could have. Okay, Larry opened the door, but it doesn't seem like we've done anything that he couldn't do alone with, focus and drive. Like, I don't think he needs Larry. Dump him before he introduces you to the wrong person.
Oh my God. Even on down the road, finally, we're into the episode. Mr. Russell, did you even try at this point? Again, George, you didn't. I don't understand this idea that Bertha runs everything in the house. Like, he didn't even say, no, I'm not meeting the Duke. I'm not talking to his lawyer. You didn't talk to me about this. You lied. It was, all right, but let me just make him this deal that, he probably won't accept. George, like, are you really that weak and impotent when it comes to your wife? I'm so disgusted and disturbed. I just knew all about Gladys in this episode. He was going to put his big boy draws on and he was going to make a stand, Tyra, and he didn't. He took the sucker way out, and I hate that.
He will always take the sucker way out when it comes to Bertha. Always. Like, what did you expect Mr. Russell to do?
I expected him to fight for his child. Damn, Bertha.
He would have did it before now. Like, it shouldn't take like this. And the only reason he was even kind of upset here is because Bertha promised something on the financial side as well as Gladys. Like, that's what really perked his ears. Why is the lawyer here? What are we doing? What did you promise him? Like, I'm not surprised at Mr. Russell. It will be nice for one person besides Larry, he powerless, what is he going to do, to have Gladys's back. But this is who he is. He just pushes over. I'm telling you, I'm hoping that it doesn't go there, but I feel like that man gonna be done lay some hands on Gladys, and then it's gonna be like, whoa, this isn't okay. I need to really get involved. This was a bad decision. I don't know. I'm not surprised. But the whole offer and, well, if you can't, this was your way. But he took that route because when it comes to Bertha, he wants to be as non-confrontational as possible. Because Lord forbid she cut off that hot pocket to him.
God, I hate it. I hate everything about it. Now, Darfelina, this is interesting. And I was going to ask about this because of the fact that during this, he meets with his old curmudgeon guy, the guy who does the dirty work for all of his business affairs. And he diverted the dowry funds to this. And he said, but you could lose it all. He's like, okay. And I'm still going to do it because he's so eager, to get the railroad, whatever going. But so how is he going to come up with this bread? What is really happening? He didn't follow through even with that after it was so ruined, and he moved those funds to go and facilitate whatever business moves he was going to make. What does that mean, Tyra? Like, what does that mean for the future of it all at this point?
The future of who?
Mr. Russell. He diverted the funds that were supposed to go for Gladys's dowry to his business endeavors. So how did that all switch up? I might have missed it, child.
I mean, I think they've been kind of inching up to it, which I would stand for. Like the day that something plummets and they lose some money, I just want to see Bertha's face. Because they're so comfortable and worried about everything else, especially Bertha, where he has been like silently telling Bertha, like, these deals ain't dealing like they used to. I'm having a hard time. We're trying to cut corners. People are expecting me to, really have them financially secure to secure these deals. It's not like it was before. Like, relax on what you're offering. And then you come in here with the Duke and whatnot, promising funds that we might not even have to align. I just hope they lose it all. Like, let's just go. They don't have to lose it all. Just lose some of it. I just want Bertha to be set because she has burnt so many bridges and relationships because I will end you. I got money. Like, yeah, but how long? It's not something guaranteed, especially now. Like, I think this has the potential to really affect their pockets, not just Russell, the family, and then we'll really see who's cooking with what when y'all don't have that money to throw around anymore.
Yeah. So now we're over here, of course, because he made that raggedy offer as his, passive way to get rid of the issue. And immediately the Duke is like, fine, it was nice being here, nice meeting you. I'm gonna go up the street to the Delancey. Somebody want me. You don't want this Duke ship. You don't want this Duke ass Duchess, whatever it is. You don't want this. I'll take it. I'll take my Dukeness up the street, right? It doesn't have to be over here because it wasn't meeting the requirement. However, ultimately the Duke is like, I need this money. Like, I need it. He needs it to carry on the family line in his country, to maintain the grounds, to do all of the things he's not capable of doing on his own. So he needs a marriage, whatever that looks like, with whomever that looks like. Mr. Russell, assures his wife, he thinks he's slick. He thinks he's nickel slick at this point because he assures Bertha this is the best deal he's ever going to get. He can take his tail up the street to, oh boy, but I just had to save his bank from closing last week. And so, Bertha gets a wild hair, meets with that man, and he's like, so do you know my bank account as well, Mrs. Russell? Then if you did, you would know I have other investments that are scattered and diversified. If my daughter wanted them, she'd have them, but that's not what I want, right? So anyway, we're here. The Duke is going to do something for some money. I just wanted to show it and touch on it a little bit. We don't have to stay there at all.
But stay there because I like the egg on Bertha's face. Well, you should have been here and you should have put a digital egg on Bertha's face. I love when that man came in there and told her about herself because, Heifer, you don't know my life. You don't know my story. Don't you ever call me over here telling me you know what's in my bank account, you old hoe. You don't roll up on me like that. Okay? It's one thing for your husband business, but you thought you knew what was in my pocket and you're going to tell me about my daughter and what we're not going to do with this sorry, desperate, destitute Duke. Don't nobody want him. You can actually have him. Do something with yourself, thirsty Bertha. I appreciated that. I just wanted to say that.
And so now we are heading over, honey, to the Rich Blacks, right? In Newport, and we're having the time of our life, apparently. At this point, I don't even know what they talked about. It sounded like the Charlie Brown show. when Peggy and Dr. Kirkland were talking, it was like wah 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 wah. I was like, what are they? Like, it was not giving steam heat. It was not giving, even a polite affection. Like, if y'all read Jane Austen or watch any of those movies, like, it didn't give any of that. It just gave we cute and we black and we walk in with my parasol up the beach. And it's very aesthetic. It's very gorgeous. It's very pleasing. But Tyra, is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Is that what this is? Or is this convenience? Is this proximity? What is this with Peggy and Dr. Kirkland?
I told you this man was beige, okay? I told you he was beige, just like that suit, just beige, bland, no flavor. With old man, he was married, but it was steam heat. He was cooking. He had a little flavor, a little swag. And for who Peggy is, I would feel like she would want a little oomph. This man has no oomph. He's and I'm not saying, he can't be high class and his way of speaking. He's clearly highly educated. That's all great, but it's like, like he's so tight, it's kind of it's like, would you have fun with him? I didn't feel it. I wasn't invested. Now aesthetically they look very picturesque, they look gorgeous, they look like a painting. It was very nice to look at, but I was in no way interested in their whatever kind of romance this is supposed to be. I was like, Peggy, is this cooking for you? It can't be. I don't even think Peggy was that swept away. Like, it's like, oh, this was nice and he's good looking, but what's really here as far as desire? I don't see it. They just look good together.
I mean, they paint him strong when he enters, of course. Like I said, he scratched her head when she was ailing. We found out the backstory and how her father inspired him to pursue medicine and all of these things. And I thought that was a perfect buildup, but I never saw you around the shop. What were you doing? What are your interests? Like, oh, you write? Can I read some of your work? It started out very promising, and I feel like it's regressed in terms of getting to know each other. But we have Mrs. Scott over here, played by the Audra McDonald. Y'all know I stan. All right. On Broadway, currently playing Madame Rose and Gypsy. Anyways, but we're over here, and I think she wants for Peggy, I think, what she ultimately found for herself. And being that Peggy now has a storied past with a marriage, a lost child, a lost marriage, all of those things, I just really think she wants Peggy to settle in and find security and comfort somewhere, which is why I think she's going to tolerate the foolishness. What do you think, Tyra? Is she going to acquiesce to Mrs. Kirkland, the doctor's mama? And I have a slide for them too.
Yeah, I'm absolutely here for her, just wanting that security for Peggy, but I don't think she's going to acquiesce so much because it's very hush hush now because this is the first meeting. But as far as like the disrespect and where I think Felicia's character could go, I don't think she's going to stand for that. I think it's just cute now because let's just let it simmer. And then I don't think they want to step on any toes with how involved they were with her initial, love interest in the past and the baby. Like, let's just see how it plays out. We don't want to run her away again. I think that's the main focus. Yeah.
We don't want to be the reason this fails for her again. So let it play out. Well, Daddy don't give a damn. Daddy don't care, but we're gonna get to Daddy. Gladys out here on a limb, honey. She's still just, on the edge of nowhere. I really, really was hoping in this episode we would see a flair for the dramatic. And again, I get society, polite society, but how about we just fall out? How about I just fall out and feign hysteria or something like that? Like, I liked the runaway effort, but there was no follow through or intensity with it. And I know I'm being unreasonable. I get the period. I get all of that, but I still in some way wanted them to subvert our expectations with this. Larry feels for his sister, but there's nothing Larry can do against his mama. Everybody know who his mama is, and these kids know who their mother is as well, which is why they move the way that they move. But Tyra, is there any hope for Gladys, especially after last night's episode, or is this a done deal?
I think we finna send Gladys through the ringer. I really do. I really think it's about to be hard out here for Gladys. I get no good energy off of that Duke. And I think in the midst of, high society and standing and, think of all the good you can do by the Duke's side. And yeah, I think she's going to lose Gladys. And in the process, Russell might too, because y'all did this to me. Y'all sent me here. I told you I didn't want to be with this man. I told you I didn't like him verbatim multiple times and nobody came to my rescue. I think we're going to see a shift in Gladys, and I just hope it doesn't get too bad, because I don't want to see Gladys black and blue, but I don't see where else this could be going. I think he's going to either mentally, emotionally, or physically abuse Gladys. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think what we're going to see, and I think if we all paid attention in season 1, when we meet Agnes, right, and Van Ryn, and she talks a lot about this marriage, this arranged marriage that she suffered through for the sake of the family, and that he was a hard man. And it's implied, it's not outright where she says she was abused by this man, but you get it. Like the girls that get it, how she was speaking in those terms. And I think if Gladys isn't careful, or if she is really forced into this, she could find herself being an Agnes down the road. I think that's kind of like a true comparison of how she could end up, because I don't think the Duke is good. I think there's definitely nefarious intent. I think the idea of her going thousands of miles from home, especially back then when it's plane, train, boat, auto, everything to get somewhere, he'll have her all to himself. I don't think this is going to bode well for her at all. He got some sick proclivities and does wild things. He's giving me Joffrey Baratheon, and I don't want that for Gladys. But it feels as though it's the makings of a mean, bitter woman if she survives it. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be very interesting to see where that goes, because I could definitely see her becoming an Agnes when she gets older, if she's over there. Let's get over here though, because this is where I really wanted to get you guys, because it's the Black bourgeoisie, you know what I mean? And I have recommended reading, if you've never read Black Bourgeoisie by E. Franklin Frazier, go and read it. I believe he was a sociologist, and he studied Black culture within America from, I want to say, the 20s, 30s upwards. And just kind of this intersectionality between racism and classism, and what it looks like within the diaspora, and how Blacks, especially at the turn of the century, post, Reconstruction, were finding themselves. Some found themselves out of slavery early because of whatever reasons, whether they were able to buy their freedom or they were free people of color, whatever the situation was, who got a bigger head start than others. Like we see perfectly demonstrated in this scene where Mr. and Mrs. Scott meet with Mrs. Kirkland, right? We have Mr. Scott, who was a slave, right? And got out, became an apprentice, became a pharmacist, owns his own shop. And she treats him like a sales boy, literally. Oh, aren't you just a little salesman? Like, my other son went to Harvard. He was like the first Black graduate of Harvard. Oh, you have no family, you have no name, you have no lineage. Oh, you're newer money. Like it really definitely gave the Black bourgeoisie. And I love that Felicia Rashad played that character, because if we do go back to the Cosby Show, that's who they were. And it wasn't as severe then as we see it, looking in, because we didn't really get to see them in comparison to those of lower socioeconomic status. But I think that even here, you see the fine line and distinction, because it wasn't about money, because honestly, bar for bar, they both were probably doing very well. It was, oh, you were a slave. I don't want to be reminded of the fact that we were slaves, because I'm disconnected from that. My family did this. My family does this. And then we also have a scene here where her grandbabies are playing outside without an umbrella. The last thing my babies need is to be out there without an umbrella, because of course we go into, Darfalina mentioned it, Jack and Jill, we're going brown paper bag. I don't want anyone darker than that. So not only does Mr. Scott come as a very melanated man, also a slave, and nothing that he could do would ever be good enough, I think, in my opinion, for Miss Kirkland to accept Peggy or her family into theirs. Tyra, what is this going to look like? What did you think about the representation that was here? Because we don't see it in a lot of period pieces, because we don't get period pieces like this.
No. I was going to say, when would we? We don't have it. not for us in the slide anyway. I thought this was gorgeous. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. I would love more to this, and I know that this isn't the Peggy show, but this was just really nice, and I feel like we got just enough. Oh, Felicia's gonna get messy. I was really happy to see Felicia Rashad here in this role. Like I was excited. And then I love that we kind of have the opposite of a Claire Huxtable, where we're thinking like, oh, we're about to just like, oh, Claire's here. And it's just like, baby, that's not Claire. That's not Claire. This is, a completely different character. And I too was very, once she mentioned those grandbabies going outside and like preserving that lily-like skin, I said, oh, we doing brown paper bag testing, baby. Peggy, you're not gonna pass. You're not gonna pass. When she was leading with the Ivy Leagues and the Harvard and then this. And so, well, what are you like? What are you, a stock boy? And like, what are you? No, I own. It's like, I don't really care. Even, the energy never shifted when he said, no, I own my own pharmacy. Well, yeah, are you old money or new money? Because if you're new, chances are your lineage is a little closer to slavery than I'd like to be associated with. My question is, that son knows his mama. Your family, like what's going on here? And even with Peggy's family here was like, well, yeah, that's just how they are. You saw our other son and his wife. She wants something closer to that, and I'm sure she's fair skinned. And it's like, yeah, well, who wants to deal with that just to be in proximity of this family? But it's I did like getting history on their relationship and her dad, just to know that, like, yeah, we were kind of feeling a way towards him as well, and that's something that we had to get past, and that's not anything that I want Peggy to go through. But if that's her choice, that's her choice. I just don't want to step on any toes and us have that long time distance like we did before with her. But I look forward to seeing where this goes. Hopefully we get to be cute with Felicia for at least like 2 or 3 episodes. I think that would be nice. I think that would be nice.
I need to see more of her. I do. But you don't because she's chocolatey. Don't do that.
I need a good read. I need a good Peggy read. I need a good daddy read. I need a read. I need something. I need a standoff in a scene and just a discussion. I think it'll be just really, really good. And I don't want the show to just shift away from her character. And it's just like, oh, I would never want to be associated with these people. Your mom said what? No, I need a standoff. I need a scene. I need a really good Peggy situation. Because I think that this is also an underlining of just really bringing Peggy and Daddy here. Because what you're not going to do is play with my baby.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love it. You guys, anything, of course, we're talking about just in context of the show, but I love this type of representation. And I believe that truly stories like this are stories that need to be told because the line exists. The line exists very heavily, and we wouldn't assume it naturally because Peggy comes from a good family. They are well maintained in a well appointed home in Brooklyn. Like, they are not struggling. They're still, vacationing in Newport and doing all of the things. But still, there's still this fine line of, are you good enough? Is this enough? What does that look like? And I think we need to understand and see that more, because as much as we think we've progressed, these lines are still here. Like, right? They're still here. And it's not just, somebody who lives in the hood versus someone who lives over here. It could be across the street, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, I do think it was very, very important to discuss. And Dax 84, I thought about this because Dr. Kirkland does seem to go against the grain, because she seemed like it was an insult that he went to Howard and HBCU rather than go to Yale, like the other brother, or Harvard like the other person did in the family. So maybe he is a rule breaker. The problem is with Dr. Kirkland, he's not giving us any oomph.
Yeah,
he ain't giving us no. Is he gonna stand up to his mama?
I think they. Well, I mean, it's just we're just having their encounter now. The verdict is out on Mr. Kirkland. We'll see maybe 2 or more episodes if it's just like, well, I would love to see more of his personality, because I know if he's willing to go against the grain in the family and this trash way of thinking, whether it's down to the school or who he chooses as a wife, like, how far are you willing to take it? Like, and I want to know why he decided to go that route when it's been whatever formulaic in their family. But please do more of this. I think that this and so many other stories where when we always have our narratives where like, oh, we're so tired of this particular time period being depicted. It's like when we do get something, we are just leaning towards slavery. And it's just like, well, what else do y'all want? so much occurred between slavery and the civil rights movement. That's just, the two vocal points that we go to every single time with our movies and our TV is, everything after Dr. King and everything is, during slavery and before. We never focus on the middle way. And I think that this is a great segue. I would tune into this weekly.
Absolutely. Like if they gave us a show literally about this, like locked in, do you hear me? And it would be supported. Like, hear us, Sally. Hear us, all right? Hear us. But now let's get over here, and we kind of touched on this briefly. That wicked cat didn't work this time, and this was the shining moment for Mr. Russell in this episode. But again, it was short-lived. It didn't last. Bertha offered that sex on a platter just to make him wet, and he resisted. And I said, "Is this the beginning of the end?" So Tyra, I'm going to ask you this: is Mr. Russell going to find it somewhere else, or has he already found it somewhere else?
Russell ain't found nothing. Speaking of her, where is she at? I just knew she was gonna be somewhere steady scheming on Bertha with her newfound money and husband. Where that lady at who sprayed eagle on that bed? And he said, "Put your clothes on. Get out of here. What are you doing? Please, well, let's just pretend this never happened. Where is she?" I just knew she was gonna be somewhere. Like, yeah, I'm not done yet. That's not happening this season so far. But if Mr. Russell's nothing to Bertha, he's very loyal, and we've seen that. I think we're seeing something break down, because even with the energy when we had that gentleman come in there and check her, it was a little flirtatious, and I'm like, "What are y'all doing?" It's like, "Yeah, you're more interesting than your husband." But I was like, "What?" Then the Duke, like, if you had any sense, you know that you should be, the vocal point. Like, I'm trying. Like, I was like, "What are we doing here, sir?" But I don't know. I feel like a distance is about to happen, because what I didn't expect, I thought the Duke and Gladys would, linger. Like, they're leaving. She's just going to leave. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be scary, and a shift in their relationship, and something's going to break down. It was either going to take the money or those children, but something is going to happen. But we've never known Russell to turn down some cat, because he never knows when he's gonna get it again. She guards it like it's the holy damn grail. Just like, what? No, I don't want to sleep in here. I don't want none of that. Okay, that's not the issue here. I'm worried about my baby. But once again, how worried are you if you just still didn't stand on business?
That part. I'm really, really, really sincerely hoping that the Duke shows his real colors before the move, so some intervention can be done. I really want them to shift the narrative there and not go according to history, who this character is loosely based on. I don't want that for Gladys, but child, we shall see. That was some resistance, but I think he's going somewhere else after this. Again, this is getting old. We touched on it. I don't want to touch on it no more, because I'm sick of these biddies up there. Of course, now a kiss and a new plan. We know that Larry was tonguing her down, and the loud nosy maid heard everything and immediately went to Bertha Russell and said, "Yeah, Miss Brooks and your son, they really like each other." What do you mean by that? "Yeah, well, they were in what? They were doing what?" She already knows. And so the meeting with Mr. Delancey made absolute sense to me, because Larry, "Oh yeah, I danced with her in Newport, last year." "Oh, perfect. You already know her then. So this arrangement's going to work perfectly. How about I give you my card? Because my son, he's the eligible age. When I tell y'all she's never going to let the Miss Brooke Larry situation happen, y'all. It's never. And Miss Brooke, don't let that man kiss you in your mouth no more. Because y'all can't hear and y'all can't see the people coming in. I just don't let him kiss you in your mouth. You'll be ruined. You'll be ruined in New York, honey. You'll have to move out to the West Coast. You'll have to be working on the railroad, Miss Brooke, teaching the babies there, because they're gonna ruin. Miss Bertha will ruin Brooke with no issue, with no hesitation. I think she'll take her down through there. So my question for you, Tyra, is Bertha gonna go for Larry and Miss Brooke, or does she have another plan in the making?
Girl, hell no. Bertha always has a plan. The only difference in the plan and, kind of aligning with Gladys, Larry isn't just going to fall in line. Larry's going to, Larry gets to be wilding out outside anyway. It's only so much. And there isn't any leverage for Marian at this point for her to give her that same treatment that she gave that older woman. But she can, like, do you want your name to be mud in these streets? Because I can make that happen. Because she did mention that here, like, you know, she's still worried about her social standing. And, you know, well, nobody would be concerned if you were being courted and kissing your soon-to-be husband. But he's not that. And Larry ain't nobody's husband material. Let's start there. Like, God, it's Larry.
Oh, young Tyra, he can mature. You just
exactly, and he can, but he's not all of. Every time we see a scene, you know, I love you, right? You know, start trying to sweet talk you out your drawers. Like, Larry, please, can you please sit down, Larry, and go get your life? You know, I love you, right? Since when? Since when is just all this love? When we it's never that. Like, she's not gonna let this stand at all. I want Agnes to get involved. That's what I want. I want the drama of that. I want that to occur, you know. And I love when she talks to Aunt Ada and she's like, well, yeah, well, was it true that Larry was not? Well, you know, the men unfortunately have the pocket here in the town to go and, you know, spread eagle and have their way roundabout, and it doesn't really affect them as much. But us, it's different. Like, you have to move accordingly and be mindful. I don't know why she keep letting Larry kiss her in the mouth, but let's not do that. Let's really discuss what's going on here and where we're actually going. Do you even want to marry Larry? we ain't even talked about that. It's just been little sneak kisses. I don't think Larry's ready for marriage. Larry is ready for the next pair of open legs adjacent to him.
Well, you know, she says when she's introducing it to Aunt Ada, you know, he thinks he's in love with me. And I think I'm curious, or, you know, I'm just figuring it out. I'm cautious is what she said. So Miss Brooke, does she like anybody at this point? Like, she only liked that first flimmer. Jack held his own, and I was so proud. And even though he felt brutally rebuffed, because this may not work, we don't know what we're going to do yet, didn't get a no, but went home and was sulking. And the one person that was least likely to encourage or give hope to anybody came down there and said, well, they didn't tell you no, so, you know, there's a chance. And that was Armstrong. Tyra, this completely upset my narrative because, you know, I hate Armstrong with a passion. She's over there with Bertha for me. I do not like Armstrong at all. But the fact that she's like, well, I didn't mean to. We know it. Listen, but God will use a donkey, right? He'll use anything. So I was appreciative of this, and it gave Jack hope for tomorrow. What'd you think of Armstrong coming through as a ray of sunshine?
She has her moments. They're few, far, and very in between. You know, she gets a moment every season. They gotta let you know she's still kicking, she's still breathing, still alive. There's still light somewhere in that tunnel. She had to, you know, rebuff. Well, I didn't mean to give you hope. Don't forget I ever said anything. I was glad Jack was there. I didn't know. Y'all keep making me say Larry. I don't know who Larry thought he was. I mean, just, you know, I'm gonna go to the meetings without you. You know, I don't necessarily need you there. Larry, you need me there. What do you know beyond the coochie, huh? In a little architecture, you don't know anything. You decorated one little house, and all of a sudden you business savvy. I'm not playing with you, Larry. I was glad he was there. I was glad that he was vocal. I like the pause of air in the room. Like, do you want to speak or should I? Like, are you going to answer the man's question? He asked you, why doesn't it need oil? Like, I hope he realizes that I don't need Larry per se to try to get my foot in the door, and he, you know, makes a way on his own and protects his patent with dear life and not just sit down with every Tom, Dick, and Ray. I really hope it's that, because what I would hate to happen is for someone to steal his idea. Someone who has more capital and social standing, they can rip it right from underneath him. And who's going to check me, boo? Like, what are you going to do? Sue me? What do you even have? Who's going to support you in suing me? Larry? Like,
Ada got a point. She can help. Ada can help. Ada. I
don't want to hear nothing about Ada. We already know where she's going. I just hope that this happens for him, because I did love that scene, even though you said you was sick of them old biddies, when you had Agnes like, well, what about now? Are we just biding time, Jack? How long are you going to be serving us high tea? Huh? How long are you going to be here, Jack? Are you going to come up before me, Agnes? Huh? What is this? What's going on in the world? Like, and it's just like, yeah, I'm not letting you old biddies or anybody else crush my dreams or ambition. I too can have a cute coin and maybe have someone waiting on me one day. I would love that, but I don't want him to put all of his hopes in the basket of Larry.
Yeah. I mean, I think like that meeting showed me that he was standing on his own 2 feet. And I too like that part where he said, well, at least I want to know what it feels like. Let me try it. Let me see what that be like first. Right. Like, don't discount me. Hell no, I'm not gonna work for you if I get this bag. I'm over being a footman and I'm too fine. Go on, Jack.
Love that. He has the patent. There's a patent. People get the damn patent.
Meanwhile, over here, of course, Gladys resigned to her fate at this point. The Duke and her actually have a sit down and he whispers sweet nothings, which they literally are sweet nothings. Always tell me the truth, Gladys. Always tell me how you feel. Mind you, I'm about to take your allowance. You know that allowance your father gives you every month? Yeah, your mom promised it to me. So not in addition to the dowry, the what do you call it? A king's purse that I'm going to be getting. I'll also be getting all of your coins. So you're not going to have any money really to play with. It's all coming to me and my regime. And of course, like a naive young girl, she's saying, I better just acquiesce at this point. He's not that bad after all. You're different than what I thought you were, but he's not, baby. I just know it. Tyra, is she resigned to her fate fully at this point?
What did Mr. Russell think he was doing? Like, it's for Glad. Like, what? You're going to make sure he gives it to her, Russell? Huh? I'm giving if you don't want it. What do you mean for Gladys? Isn't it? Well, yeah, that's the deal. Take it or leave it. You're going to make sure he personally gives this money to Gladys, Mr. Russell. You're not going to be there for that if it comes to that. This was interesting. We haven't seen him show any of this, period. Like any concern or any moment of, let me at least try to win her over. It's always been about the money, been about Bertha, and what am I going to get out of it? It's like I'm selling off to the highest bidder. I'm desperate. I do want to know why he is so desperate. Like, what happened to your standing? What happened to your funds? Like, are you a degenerate? Are you a gambler? Like, what do we know? The only moment we saw was when I think he was hanging out with Larry and he was all drunk. Like, it's it's a thing. It's like, let me tell her what she needs to hear right now so we can get on with it. Let me try to make her comfortable. But if you had shown even a little bit of this to try to make a genuine effort to get next to Gladys, who knows what could have happened with her being so disappointed in her lost love. And he doesn't want to come. Like, what? Girl, I wouldn't come nowhere after Bertha either. Like, do you know who your mother is and what she said to his mom? Like, what do I know at all? Like, maybe he didn't love me as much as I thought. He probably did. He probably just hates your mom. And he has every right to. I don't want to align myself with your family. No, not my fortunes either. Your mom is sick. Yeah, it just seems like at this moment, like, let me tell her what she wants to hear, and then we'll get to the getting after that. But this did not seem genuine at all.
Yeah. I think as far as like the aristocracy and the royals, I think especially during this period, that's when a lot of their like family lines were going like bankrupt. Like they didn't have money for whatever, whether it was poor management of the estates, gambling, or just kind of the loss of support for the lesser royals. I think that's probably what he was going through, because you saw a lot of these marriages at that time where you had new money going in and marrying into royal lines, really just to revive the line and make sure that they could sustain. Otherwise, they were going to be paupers and sent out to the countryside. But yeah, Gladys is just, oh God, poor Stink. Like I said, he was painting it on thick, but baby, you don't stand a chance. The Duke knows what he's doing.
Intention of you being happy, Gladys. Every intention.
Gladys. But now we're here. The unveiling of this portrait that we've been waiting all episode for. Child, they could have kept it, because why are we painting pictures of Gladys? Anyway, she's there. She's standing. She's got the pearls. She's playing with them because she's so nervous after she's resigned to her fate. The pearls go everywhere. It's a spectacle because, we can't do this in society. This is a mess. And what I said is subtle foreshadowing, because if any of you guys are on socials and you see those subtle foreshadowing videos, it's disastrous. It's always something very terrible. It's always a terrible fall, always a terrible outcome for those. I just know this is foreshadowing for what her future looks like. I think it's going to be all over the floor, ruined, broken, devastated. And I don't think anyone stands a chance at this point. And I hope doesn't get to a point where it's too late. But like I said, she is going to be the injured party in all of this. And I hate that for Gladys because she's almost like a lamb being led to slaughter for me. I really hate everything about this, but the pearls ripping off her neck and going everywhere. I was like, oh yeah, poor Gladys. Well, are we going to be going to a gravesite, Tyra? What is going to happen?
Oh, Lord. Girl, this reveal of this girl with the pearl necklace paintings. Get this out of here. Like, oh, look at Gladys. She's so regal and young. Like, what? Get that out of here. I was hoping with that painting there would be a reveal. I was like, come on, let's get something, Gladys. Like, let's rebel a little bit. Because you remember when she checked in on the painting that episode, and he was like, well, yeah, remember it was a little risque. The girl had a little strap coming down and you painted her. I was like, yeah, balls to the walls. Be naked under that under that sheet, Gladys. Have some cleavage out. Do it was like, no, it's just a regular. I thought her it was like, oh, is that my strap hanging off of my shoulder? I can't be tamed, Mom. You're not putting baby in the corner. She's gonna stump up the stairs. She's like, no, just a regular ass portrait. That was fine. I can hope. Her clenching those pearls, I'm like, I can't breathe. The walls are closing in. Like, oh Lord, they all shattered and scattered on the floor like this was Showgirls. I was like, oh, it's not looking good for Gladys. I don't think we're gonna be at her tombstone or anything like that. I don't think we're gonna be slow singing and flower bringing for Gladys. But what would be great if Gladys takes this Duke out, push him downstairs, Gladys. I don't know, do something. I need it to. What I don't want is for them to make this like cute and wrap it up in a bow because we're gonna give Bertha the Agnes, Bertha's never wrong. We're gonna give her that. And it's just like the worst of it for Gladys is she's unhappy because she doesn't love him. But everything is perfectly fine. Don't make this Duke all shady. And then I've tried everything to win Gladys over. It's just not working. I thought,
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me he ain't laying hands on Gladys? He ain't gonna try to cuss Gladys out on a drunken night? Huh? He ain't gonna try to take cookies? I don't know. We'll see how far this goes. But the pearls were very like, this is gonna end badly.
Yeah, it was very, very telling. Yeah, subtle foreshadowing. But y'all, in a nutshell, that was the episode. That was The Gilded Age, season 3, episode 3. Shout out to the 110 people who made it to the building tonight. Thank y'all so much for coming through to discuss The Gilded Age. This was a great, great episode. And I'm trying just to get us back on the stage. There we go. Tyra, anything else you wanted to say about the episode or anything that's going on this week that you wanted to share with the people?
Oh, not too much about the episode. I just want, some violence, but that's just me. As far as what we have going on, stay tuned. Anyone who loves a good Love Island, that should be coming up shortly with the latest episode. Of course, tomorrow we're almost into season 3 of Game of Thrones. I have been watching it for the first time, and feelings have been had and shared, and I hope the same tomorrow. that's coming, and all those good things. So if you like Game of Thrones, if you're here for Love Island, please chime in with us tonight and tomorrow. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here and supporting the live. We cover Gilded Age every Monday night at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. And if you're a part of the collective family, you can join us in the Discord where we watch it every Sunday night, pretty much. We've been watching it since it's been on in Discord every Sunday night. So make sure that you join us for that. Thank you for being here. Hit the notification bell, subscribe, and drop a comment after the video ends. It helps us so much. Thank you. And we will see y'all in the next one.